SEO. That's Eventbrite Search Engine Optimization. Successful free events versus paid events. Good morning. Thank you for being here, and I hope you are well. Welcome to the We Don't Play podcast show. Welcome to the room where we have live conversations on Clubhouse, and shout out to the Marketing Club. Thank you so much for everything that you do for the community. And as you're listening to this, you are going to learn about how successful free events versus paid events work on Eventbrite. Eventbrite is a local marketplace that I can say merchandise-wise, franchise-wise, business-wise, market-wise is a wise decision to have your content, your business, your brand, your information online. Because when you don't have that, welcome Coach Z, when you don't have presence online, you're looking for it. And most places that you want to find presence is where you want to feel connected. Welcome Jason and Alice. So if you want to feel connected, you want to feel appreciated, you want to feel like your content is being seen, is being heard, is being responded to, Eventbrite is where you want to be. Welcome Carolyn and Seti. When you think about your content online, hey Kronos, when you think about your content online, most times your content is going to be based on how people perceive it, more often than not. So if people are going to see your content and they're going to connect with you online, welcome Teresa, your content is going to be the multiplying effect. I'll say this again. Your content is going to be the multiplying effect of what you get based on the depth of the conversation you have within the context of the copy. In other words, when you create content that speaks more volumes than what is being perceived, then successfully you've achieved a goal that bypasses the noise when people are looking for solutions that will involve them and definitely involve you. So if you have a business, if you have a service, a product, an idea, something that you want to share with people, welcome Amy, that you want to grow with over time, successfully, if you have a free event on Eventbrite, or if you have a paid event on Eventbrite, this is where you want to shine. Welcome Feli. Because when you have a free event on Eventbrite, it means that you have a title that is going to allow people know what the event is about. And when you think about this long term, how do you as a business sustain that domain authority? Because we're talking about Eventbrite SEO. We're not just talking about how to create an event. You can create an event on eventbrite.com for yourself. It's very easy to do. It's a 1, 2, 3 setup. But here's where most people don't see it. Eventbrite is where you can actually store information that will still validate you, because I'll say it this way. Indirectly, you're applying off-page SEO. What is off-page SEO? Somebody may say off-page SEO is like backlinks. That's always a debate, but they're different, right? Completely different. They may be slightly similar, but they're completely different. When you look at off-page SEO, an example would be Google Business Profile. It would be Trustpilot. It would be TripAdvisor. It would be these places, or like Bing places, where you would go, welcome Norette, and you have content that people are connecting with you on a specific topic, and they're finding your reviews, they're finding your links, they're finding your content that they're referring to, a good way for you to also be able to show that domain authority on your page. Even social media can be considered quote unquote as off-page SEO, because SEO is happening on your website, but people are coming to your website from a website off of yours, which is another website. So when it's off-page, is literally what you're hearing. Off-page, what is another page that refers to my page that can turn it on? And when somebody comes to my page and there's on-page SEO, there's structure. So off-page SEO already has structure, but we're not looking at the structure of the page because it's already off your control or out of your control. But when you're now putting that into your website, it's going to create a completely new strategy that can actually accelerate your business. So when you have a successful, specifically Eventbrite event, then your event is going to be that one event that most people are going to create more and more capacity to learn, to understand, to build, to grow, to know how you can also connect with them on a one-on-one basis. Now, when you're creating content for people, you're creating content based on what they're going to see, right? So if they're going to see your content, that means the first thing they're going to interact with is your title on Eventbrite. So if they're going to interact with your title for the first time ever, and there are 5 other titles like yours, let's say workshop. There are 5 workshops talking about AI. Let's say it's an AI workshop. How will you know which AI workshop to be at? You can't be at 5 places at the same time. Let's say they were all happening at the same time. Which one are you going to pick? If it's a marketing workshop, an SEO workshop, if it's a business real estate workshop, if it is a food workshop, whatever type of workshop it is, that workshop is going to be there. If it's a boot camp, it's going to be there. If it's a course, it's going to be there. If it's a meet and greet, it's going to be there. So why am I being specific with these last words? It's because these are the very words that people type with. When they're looking for events, they're going to be looking for events based on the setup. So here's where the successful section comes in. When you focus on the end of your title as the moving factor or the moving needle to drive traffic to your event, it's a great gain, because what makes a successful event a success? It's the number of people, the quality of people, and what happens after the people leave. If those 3 things are going to give you 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, then they're all going to bring in successful receipts. I'm using the word receipts because that will show the evidence of what has happened. So if you are creating successful free events, then look into your content specifically, because we're talking about SEO, look into your dashboard on your Google Search Console. And now with Google, they have updated to branded and non-branded searches. So if you're going to have branded and non-branded searches, your question in motion should be, what are we creating for the people? How are we creating content for people? What are we telling people that they need to see? How are people able to connect with others? What is the intention? How are we going to be able to do this in a way that will drive retention? Right? So if we're going to drive retention, and I'm going to talk about attention versus retention marketing very soon. Attention marketing versus retention marketing, because those are 2 different things, but they work hand in hand. It's like left brain, right brain. So if we were thinking about long-term investments into building a long-term plan for your event, then go to your Google Search Console, which is free. That should have data because you've built it. You can't, let me say it this way. You can't give what you don't have, and you have to receive something that you're willing to have, right? So if you're willing to have something that is going to give you something that you can give back, then what you give in is going to be very important, whether it's your time you're giving into it, whether it's your attention, whether it's your detail, whether it's your energy, your money, your resources, your connections. It's all going to play a big role, because when you have events can be a success, it can be a fail. But how you determine that success is based on the demand. Highly based on the demand. If the demand for the event is 0, then you have no event. You have a wall post. But if you have an event and that event is making sense and it's building retention, then imagine doing that event over and over again. A lot of people create events on Eventbrite for the event a week ahead of time, a month ahead of time. Okay. But imagine if you treated your event like the sports I'm going deep with this, like the sports calendar. When I say sports calendar, I'm not just talking about one sport. There's NBA, there's soccer, there's FIFA World Cup coming to the US very soon, right? So North America, there's a schedule. When you have your favorite tour with your favorite artist, there's a schedule. If they drop tour dates, there's a schedule. So why doesn't your event have a schedule on Eventbrite? If there's no schedule, how are they going to prepare for your event? Success means that you plan ahead of time. It doesn't mean you just have an event. Hey, let's do SEO. What if you're busy and you need that information, but you can't be there? Is it successful? So we have to think about the logics. So we'd love to hear from you, Rocky. Good morning. What are your thoughts on this? And welcome to the room.
Great morning. Can you hear
Yeah.
me? It says my connection was lost. No, I'm glad I popped in because I'm on my way to work, by the way, because I was thinking about doing Eventbrite events, even if it's just for a Zoom, and I'm planning on having my first live event this year as well. So I am tuning in, and my issue isn't the scheduling. My issue is in the follow up. I'll put anything on the schedule. It's a matter of if I'm actually going to follow up and do everything I need to do behind it.
Okay. I got a question for you now, Rocky. So if you're talking about the schedule, is it the schedule to plan the event or the schedule of following up after the event for the next event?
No, I can plan the event. I'm talking about the stuff that I would need to do. Like, okay, I have to do search engine optimization. I'd have to optimize my stuff. I'd have to make sure I attend my own event. I just never set it up to completion, I guess you could say. So basically, I'm an idea head, not an action taker when it comes to in-person live events or anything like that. Or even my Zoom calls are kind of fluctuating.
Okay. So I'm glad you're here, Rocky. And for those who are also listening, if you have a question, please raise your hand or put in the chat, please, so that we can answer your question today if you have anything that's in mind. You know, when you mention the scheduling part and preparing for it, it's always going to take a lot of mental preparation and energy. And when you're looking at events, especially on Eventbrite, there's a way that people look at your event. They'll see today, they'll see tomorrow, they'll see the next day, and then they're like, okay, now I'm ready for this event. If you look at the checkout on Eventbrite, does anyone know how many minutes the countdown timer starts at? You can put in the chat. Go ahead, Broccoli.
Is it 25 or 30 minutes?
Quarter of your hour to plan an event, process an event. And that also is with other websites too. When you think about hotels or you think about booking for, things that are timely based or time based, there's always a countdown timer and it's 15 minutes, which is a quarter of an hour. So why is it 15 minutes? Because you may need to go get your card. Your card might be in the garage or it might be in your bag and you can't find your bag. So a lot of things could be happening in 15 minutes. So they give you that amount of ample time so that you can make a decision and stick to the commitment made. So if you're creating content for people, then the people who are going to receive that event are also going to have to put it on their schedule. So sometimes we're like, oh, we can't put an event at this time because we think everyone is busy. But how will you know when people are most active if you're not tracking it? And the best way to track it is using your website, because you can go to your website and see when was the most active time of the day, of the hour, of the week, of the month. And then when you're looking at those active times, compare them to the idle times. Those active times, if you have sample data, test with that, because sometimes we get so overwhelmed with what do we do? How do we start? Where do we go? Yet the information is right in front of you, but you have not pushed to start. So the problem is not the start button, it's how you're pushing. You might be pushing slow or you might not even be pushing at all. So you wonder how you're going to be creating the event without creating the effect first. So when you create the effect, the effect is going to bring the event to where it is. If you start seeing, sparks flying, if you start seeing fireworks, if you start seeing stars, that's because an effect was created. Whether it's a sound effect or a light effect or a visual effect, whatever that effect was, it created an experience that made the event worthwhile. So if you want to create a free virtual event, a free in-person event, a free, I can say, hybrid event, because you can have both of them as well if you want to do both, or if you want to have it as a paid event that would now be in person or virtual, then having your website within Eventbrite is a great deal, a big deal. Why? Because when you have your website, and it happens on two sides. It's like a bridge, right? A bridge does not have one side. There are two sides of the bridge. If there's no two sides, there's no bridge, right? Because the bridge has to come together, right? So when a bridge is coming together, it needs to create a landing, or it needs to create a pathway. So if this bridge is coming from two ends, what am I explaining? If point A or if end A is eventbrite.com, point B or end B should be your website.com. Because if you're just on Eventbrite and you want people to come to your event and they can't go to your website to know who you are or where you are or what you do, then how are they going to connect with you plus 10,000 other people who are talking about the same event for their event? So your question now should be, how do I make my event successful? How do I make my event easy to understand? And how do I make my event faster to be received? And you can use a video. You can put YouTube videos in your Eventbrite. That's YouTube SEO right there. You go to YouTube, you get your video, you copy, you paste the link, you have your video there. It's a 1-minute video explaining what this event is about. There you go. You put your link for people that want to learn more about you. You may have a quiz. You may have some type of thing that's interactive. You're already giving people an experience for your event before the event even started. That is a successful event because people are anticipating for the event before the event even begins. But if people are going to come to your event and that's where the excitement starts, it's not going to happen. Just like with relationships, you can't just think you're going to just start something in bed because you feel like, yeah, it's time to create the effect when you didn't create it in the morning, when you didn't create it all day. The person that you're with is expecting you to talk to the person, right? If you're not going to talk to this person all day and you expect to get something at night, you got me and the person completely screwed up. It's not going to happen, right? Because you're just going to be chopped and screwed in the moment. So you don't want to be that person. You want to be the person that has been talking to this person for the last 3 weeks. Hey, let's talk about this. What do you like? What do you do? Let me send you an email. Not on the day of the event, hey, blasting you with 5 emails trying to say, hey, come through, when you didn't talk to me at all for the last 3 weeks. And that's what most people do. And you expect to get a result. And people don't remember you. Even if you've been doing this for the last 10, 20, 30, 40 years, they don't remember you because there's other things that they're thinking about: their family, their time, their investments, their future. So you're the last thing on their mind. But if you're the first thing on their mind, it's because you're the first thing on your mind. So if you're on their mind, if they're on your mind, it's a bridge. If you have a website, they have a website, and you're connecting those websites, it makes sense. But if you're going to be talking like, oh, I have this, and I can't explain this through that, then we're not going to have a bridge. We're just going to have a conversation that's going in circles, and nobody wants to do that. Jason, we'd love to hear from you. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm glad you're teaching this. I would say that and it's reminding me that Eventbrite is the right place for an event. But with your analogy, the reason why I'm not doing events anymore, and I did the most events in Toronto from say 2007 probably to 2010. We used to do a show every Saturday night. Okay, and the young people don't know who the OG is, even in Toronto now, right? Because that is a long time ago, right? 2007 to 2010. So a lot of the people that do events now, I guess, if they're 20 doing events now, that was what, 2010. So they're 16 years ago. They were 4. Okay, so they don't know who the OG is in my city I'm from. But the reason I don't do events now is because it made me broke even so. Okay, so now I am better. I do know more. Now my Eventbrite event promotion, I would even have songs on it. So I'm telling people the game now. You could even make songs, videos, right? I'd probably get somebody hot to not shake their booty or whatever. But I get somebody hot in the video and everything. But the problem is that the other part of marketing, you have to know that it's going to pay off. So using your analogy, you could, you know, romance the wrong person for 3 months, and some people are co-parenting with terrorists, straight up, because the person wasn't worthy. Okay, so the marketing doesn't just start for marketing your event. It starts from knowing your target market and all of that. And I don't see enough of a payoff in my target market. And that's why I'm not doing events, straight up. Okay, if I knew there was a payoff, okay, and I'm flying back to Toronto, if I knew there was annual events, look, if I wait all year, okay, to get paid, I'm gonna be broke, brother. Okay, so the thing is, he does annual events, and he's great. You know, he's better poet than me. You know, he does these. He used to do When Brothers Speak. I don't even know if he still does them, because the thing is, to do an annual event at the big theater, okay, and I just moved to monthly events at the theater. I went broke, okay, in 2010, and that's why I stopped doing Toronto Poets. I had to sell my house. So the thing is, the thing that I didn't do, why it cost me my house, is the marketing in advance, the testing in advance to see if my target market even has the capacity. So if you do this in a relationship, you could totally, treat the wrong person well for even 2 years and even marry them and everything. And then they steal the ring and throw you in the, you know what I'm saying? Like, as you understand what I'm saying, like, or you end up co-parenting with a terrorist. So the thing is, you have to make sure the person is worthy, right? Whatever you consider worthy is. The first thing is to make sure, is this person the right person for me to romance, right? Because if they're not, then you do all of that and you end up co-parenting with a terrorist. And I have people I love that are doing that. Okay, so the thing is, that's where you have to start. You have to start off and saying, okay, if I'm doing this event and I'm going to spend $1,000, right? Am I only going to make $500, even if I do everything right? And can I do that? Take that loss for how many events before I get known? And then, okay, yeah, everything starts off like that. Weekly event, am I going to lose $500 the first week, and then, only $200 the second week, and then, by 2 months, am I going to be making a profit, or am I going to keep doing this, love it? And look, there's been some pastors, they do a huge conference and everybody says that was amazing, and then everybody's cleaning up and they're like, why aren't you happy? That was an amazing event. And he's like, because it cost me my house. I'm the one that's paid. You understand? So the thing is, you have to see, well, is this going to be sustainable if I do everything right? And that's why I'm not doing events, because people broke. They just come, love the event. And the thing is, are they willing to pay enough for what I'm putting into it? Because look, even so, if they could do all of the marketing, I could do all of the marketing right. I have songs and videos that are amazing, and I have this now. And the reason why people don't know me is because if I put the money into marketing the thing, there's nobody shaking their booty in my video. This generation is gonna still go to the person shaking their booty, even if with that guy, they could end up a statistic, and it's not safe to be alone with him. I'm done speaking.
Hey, man.
I think,
Go ahead, Rocky.
no, I was gonna say, because I feel Jason. I have a marketing agency, Jason, and I've been experiencing this. and 1000% resonate. What I learned for myself, and we have totally different issues, I'm sure. What I learned for myself was that you kind of have to shift with what the world is doing, and it sucks because what was working then isn't working the same now. And then as far as, I was even saying that for myself, like I shifted from doing events. When I was doing an event, I had a huge one. I actually put out about $5,000, didn't make anything, but it was for brand awareness. And I asked that same question you posted of how many brand awareness events am I going to do? Like the goal is to earn from this, to get people to hire my services. And people aren't making the same money that they were making before. However, I know I need to shift my market. I don't need to talk to small businesses anymore. I probably need to talk to corporations. I probably need to be in those rooms, right? So it is a shift, and I think it's us kind of knowing how to shift and where we're supposed to shift, and then making it work with the market compared to what we're used to, from back in the day. And I'll give you an example, Favour, to your point, to his point, like Creative Con. Creative Con started small, and look at where they're at now. This is the second one you attended. I think this is the third one they maybe had. Maybe before they started out small, but then they started growing and growing and growing, and looking at their audience, and then now they're willing to invest. But it took some time. So I guess it's a matter of if you, if you want to do it at that time, if you want to do it for awareness, or if you want to do it to make money.
Well, Rocky, the corporate market, and look, I'm in this exact same, I already made that decision. The business to business, big corporation market, they really buy from, I multi-million dollar corporations, and I used to work for one, Microsoft. Microsoft doesn't buy from awareness. Okay, they don't buy from people like doing a nice awareness videos. Like they don't say, "Hey, that video on Instagram was great." Bill, like that's gonna be from an Instagram video. That it's not from, that's not the executive. And I'm a CEO. I'm doing some ChatGPT searches. I just had a meeting with somebody on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, right? I'm on Clubhouse, right? I had a meeting with her on LinkedIn, and it was a great meeting. And if I get budget for my free hotels project, it's a hotel project. I'm not choosing the person to use for a hotel development project from a nice Instagram video or a nice Eventbrite event marketing. That's not how I'm choosing somebody. I'm having an interview on LinkedIn, checking their website. Okay, so the thing is, that is good for people that think they don't have a website. They got tons of Instagram followers, but I'm checking their website. I'm looking at their testimonials, and she did an amazing a review of my free hotels project website. And just for that amazing review she did, showing me how I could make it better and all of that, I gave her a great recommendation on LinkedIn. And based on my recommendation, somebody might hire her because I'm not ready to go with a project. I don't have funding and everything, but I said she'd be the number one choice if when I get funding for it. Right. And it was a great meeting, just half an hour. Right. But it has nothing to do with what she put out on. I don't know if she even has an Instagram. I don't even know if she has, does events. But that recommendation, look, one of my recommendations on LinkedIn was so powerful. Manager, she had worked, she was my manager at another company. Powerful that when her LinkedIn profile went down, she messaged me. She said she read my recommendation. It was so powerful because she really took the bullet for our team. And that's why she got fired, because she stuck up for the team. And this was a job I had for 6 years. And she was my best manager in 6 years. I gave her such a strong recommendation on LinkedIn. She said she cried when she read it. And when her profile went down, she called me and asked me to give it to her again. She literally cried. That's how powerful recommendations on LinkedIn are, and most people don't optimize it. But it's not from great Instagrams or Facebook profiles or even TikToks. That's not a corporation spy. I don't care if you're on TikTok. I'm done speaking.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure where you. We're talking about Eventbrite, so I'm not sure how it went to social media. Um, but my point, and I'll pass it back to you, Favour. My point was what we used to do on Eventbrite back in the day, and I don't know if you feel the same. I just feel like you have to be strategic, which is what you initially said. If you're not strategic with it and you don't have a goal behind it, or if it's not working for you and you don't shift, especially based on today's market, it's just not going to work, which is why I think, like I said, I came in here for the point of the room, which is the search engine optimization. That probably is something that will work now, right? And then even with me, and this is where I was kind of going, Favour, I'll absolutely do events for brand awareness, but then if I have consulting in it, then I'll take that consulting recommendation or whatever the case is from those events. If they no longer serve me, then I'll stop doing those events because the goal is to eventually make money, get hired, etc. Back to you, Favour.
Exactly. The whole point of having Eventbrite is to build the brand awareness, but also do it in a strategic way that will also amplify your brand as a marketplace for success, where you can actually test the waters, I can put it that way, and understand, are you going to do a free pop-up, a free signing, a free sample, a free virtual event, a free in-person pop-up, whatever it is, whatever you call it, a bootcamp, workshop, whatever. It's going to be something that's going to interact with them because that's what they're used to. People love going for conferences. So when you hear the word conferences, if I know 3 million people love conferences, what am I going to put in my title? So when you start thinking about what people are already thinking about before you even put it down on paper or on screen, then you're able to also understand that your market and your market share has a share of voice, and you have to also have to participate in that voice if you want to be part of that communication or even that discussion to begin with. So I love that you talked about that, Rocky and Jason. Thanks for being here as well. Marcus, good to see you. Lance Turner, thanks for being here.
What's
Amina
going on?
was good. Amina, I don't know if you're on the phone, but I wanted to say welcome to Clubhouse. And if you wanted to speak, I wanted to let you speak because I know you came up first if you have a question. But if you're still on the phone, then just let us know. Okay, you're back. Amina, we'd love to hear from you. Welcome to Clubhouse. And if you want to speak on the bottom left, you have the microphone. There we go. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I just got off the phone and I heard my name.
Yeah, I was coming to you to say welcome to Clubhouse, and I wanted to come to you first because I know you came to the
Oh,
stage and wanted to ask if you have any question or if you wanted to say anything about the room.
well, actually, it's not going to be welcome to Clubhouse. Should be welcome back. Because, yeah, this is just a new account because the other one had a long story short. It was for work purpose. Though this is my personal account. But I think it's safe to say we are the pioneers of this Clubhouse in Africa or Nigeria. In Africa. Yeah, Africa.
Love that. Thank you for being here, Amina.
Favour, you're welcome. It's my pleasure and thank you very much for bringing me up. It means a lot to be part of Elite talk about something as good as events being paid by users free. So what I don't understand is the Eventbrite SEO. So I would like someone to just give me a highlight of what's going on, then maybe I'll pitch in if they know to. Thank you.
Thank you, Amina. I will just, yeah, that's a good question. I will bring the room and just bring the topic to the top of the room so that you guys can understand what we're talking about today. And then I'll come to you, Marcus, as well, and Lance Renaud too. If you're listening to this room and this conversation, you're just joining, especially if you have a pink ticket, welcome to the house and welcome to the club. This is a marketing club, and feel free to connect here with me because I usually do this on a consistent basis. So if you want to get to see me here or connect to me when I'm speaking, just click on my profile, tap on the three dots on the right. It will say notification settings, and then tap always. Or you can hit the link at the top and join the newsletter where you can get information about all the things that I'm doing and I'm working on outside Clubhouse. Now, we're talking about Eventbrite SEO. Eventbrite is a marketplace, and I put a link in the chat for a reason, because I want you to see some stats, which you're going to talk about. I love talking about the numbers. I love talking about the stats, the data. I want us to talk about the things that actually move the needle, so that we're not guessing, we're forecasting, and we're predicting with results that we can actually achieve, by a feasible measure. So if we're talking about Eventbrite SEO, the goal is to know how can we as a business or as a marketplace or as people want to create consistent content that will allow our events to be seen online, and how do we use Eventbrite the best way so we can have successful events, whether they're free or paid. Because what's going to make your successful event a successful event is the people who show up to the event and the quality. And how will you know that? By the emails that they give you. If they provide you with a basic email address, that's going to be different from someone who's leaving their work email address or their professional email address or their business email address. When you export that CSV file and import it into your CRM, a comma separate value, that's a CSV, into a CRM, a customer relationship management tool, then you're going to be building conversations, not just sending them blasts. You're going to be having conversations with them because they're preparing for something that's going to happen. And you have to anticipate that. You can't just wed somebody on day one. You have to be able to understand who the person is inside and out. You may not know them fully, but you need to know them to a point of understanding where you're going to, because there has to be an alignment. Just like a car, there has to be tire alignment. So if you have alignment as an event, it has to make sense for the person who's receiving it and the person who's also giving it. So we're going to talk about this today, and we're going to break down those stats. Marcus, we'd love to hear from you. What were your thoughts, conversations? We'd love to hear, your feedback. What's good?
What's going on, everybody? Eventbrite. It's necessary, man. I think it's one of them tools that everybody should use because it's free. You know what I'm saying? You might have to pay a little bit for the platform, for the ticket sales and all that stuff, but it's definitely worth it. Eventbrite allows you to post your event so everybody else can accidentally stumble into your event. So if you just post your event on your website or on social media, people may not see it, but strangers can accidentally see your event on Eventbrite because they're searching for it in the surrounding areas and cities and all that. So it definitely makes sense. One thing I see a lot of people do with Eventbrite is they leave the actual system on default, where you only have to register as an attendee with just your email. So you got to go on the back end and make it a requirement to get their phone number too. I think that's important. So you want to get the name, number, and email, and not just the email. If you leave it as is, you only collect the email. I see a lot of nonprofit people not use Eventbrite. You may have like a back to school give back or back to school backpack or haircuts or Christmas toy drive. Anytime you have a nonprofit event, you should post that give back on Eventbrite so the people in the community can come out and support your event. What happens is you get strangers that come out to get the backpacks, to get the haircuts, to get the Christmas toys, take pictures with Santa Claus, and they register for the event. You could then take that data, the CSV file, like Favour said, and actually put that, add that to your CRM. Share that with your sponsors. Those are the people that's going to sponsor your event. They want that data too to talk to the people that they sponsored the event for. So instead of just telling them, hey, we're going to do this impact and I want you to donate and sponsor this, you let them know, like, I'm also going to come back with an extended customer list for you. And that'll make the partnership that much more better. But yeah, man, get it in, man. Eventbrite, CRM. Follow me on everything, Marcus Bowers TV. What's up, Favour, man? Happy to see you. Good to hear that you're still doing the work for the people, brother.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you for always being here, man. It's always good to see you on the app. Always exciting to see you here too. Thank you for that feedback. Yes, it's so important to be intentional. Even churches as well should also, consider using Eventbrite. If there's a give back, there's a giveaway, there's a challenge, there's a workshop, there's a service, there's a conference. Most people use it just for paid ticketed events and like, oh, we need to do an event. Let's go to Eventbrite. But if it's free, they don't even think about Eventbrite because they're like, everyone's going to show up if they have to or if they need to. But if you're able to create structure between those two, then you have a calendar of events that people can go to. And that actually creates structure. And that also is an added advantage to you because you can create more for your website, backlinking back to SEO that we're talking about today. Yes, Marcus, and we'll come to this soon.
This is for everybody in the room. So when I started my first company, in 2012, right? She's Happy Hair. We made over $100 million in sales since 2012 selling hair extensions online and in store. Our first grand opening, I put the grand opening on Eventbrite, right? But not just the grand opening, I also started putting out sales on Eventbrite. So when we had a Black Friday sale, I put that on Eventbrite. We had a back to school sale, I put that on Eventbrite. Prom and graduation sale, I put that on Eventbrite. Because the event isn't just happening in store, it's happening online too. So I just wanted people to know that we were having these sales. So I remember we had it in Atlanta. And it was on Eventbrite in every city, Atlanta, Dallas. You know, we customize the events. So for the Atlanta location, people was on Eventbrite just seeing that we had a sale because they were looking for events on Eventbrite. And it was like, yeah, we got a sale. Come shop over here. So hopefully that helps.
Oh yeah, totally. Events are big. When you have them on Eventbrite, it even makes your conversation even more pleasant because it feels like we're talking the same language. Oh, you're on Eventbrite too? Yeah. Oh, you're on Facebook too? Yeah. Okay, what's your LinkedIn? Like the guards are down because you're not feeling like you have to like buckle up or you have to sit up or you have to feel like you have to pull up your collar because you have to do something. You're connecting with the person because you want to have an interconnection, not just a connection. So definitely I love that you said that, Marcus, and congratulations on that. That's a big deal. So thank you so much for that. Lastronaut, we'd love to hear from you. Good to see you as well. Good morning. What are your thoughts on the conversation?
Hey, I don't think I had any thoughts. I was getting my cafe con leche and my pan and huevos and stuff. But I was in the room. Hey guys.
Thanks for
Going
What's
sharing
on.
good?
that story, Marcus, because honestly, I needed to hear that because I'm kind of old in this, and I had, because of what I was promoting, using tools like Eventbrite. I can't remember if we actually used Eventbrite because it was a long time ago, but it was kind of discouraging because the thing is, what I was promoting was not something like that. It was like the poetry shows, right? And that market is totally different from like say the hair market and things like that. So people would know about it, event come, but they just wouldn't spend that much money, even if they came and we had food and we had really good events. So because of that, I'm like hesitant to do events again. But I do think that you have to understand what the market is. Will the market bear, what you're investing? And there's some products like that where, look, even if people be broke, they just still be making sure their hair looks good. So I think that you really have to understand what your market is out. And, like if it's something that they're going to buy, and do all of the target market testing first, and do all of the financial analysis to see if it's something that is scalable. Will people pay for it, and all of that work. Then you should definitely, like, Favour is one of the best people to figure out what your marketing mix of things should be. And all I can say is education works, right? Like the proper way. There's a reason why people study marketing. It's not for fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason why McDonald's it does so well. It's not because their burgers. Your mama, everybody's mama probably makes better burgers than McDonald's. I'm just speaking.
No, I love what you said, Dan. It's not the it's not the best. It's the best known. I'm sure you've heard that somewhere before. If you're the best known, then people know you. Imagine the products that we're drinking and consuming, and they're the best known, and they're not the best for us. I use this app called Oasis that tells you about what you're putting in, like water, what are the best waters, what are the best detergents. Just check it out. It's an Oasis app. Just spend $47 a year and save yourself all the stress of of what you're buying and what you're
But just
investing.
to
That's
let
just
you, I
something
wasn't
to tell
talking
you.
about, I wasn't talking about your mama. I mean, you as opposed. I don't know.
No, now
I haven't met your
yeah.
mama. I haven't met your mama. Just on the record. Just on the
No,
record.
I totally get it, man. No, Jason, I understand. Like it's definitely important to look at these things and see where are we putting our time, our money, our energy, our resources, our time, specifically in the form of getting it back, because most of us want to buy our time back, but we don't know how to buy our time back. There's a book even that says buy your time back. You can download that or buy it on Amazon. And when you think about your time, if you spend, if I didn't do this, then now it now determines how I'm able to actually create my trajectory for the next set of things. And you talked about testing. I want to give you something that you can also test. I have a master's of science in entertainment business, and I want to share this part of this with you. Also, a master in business administration. Now, when you talked about test, I thought about the science. Here's a litmus test that you can do, and write this down if you're going to do this. Here's a litmus test you can actually do, and you can prove it. And come back to me and tell me if this worked or not, because it's proven. I've tried it myself. It works. It's worked for our clients, and it will work for you. But if you don't do it, if the work doesn't get done, faith without works is dead. So here we go. Here's the litmus test. Create an event on Eventbrite. Step 1. And I'm not going to give you what to name it because I'm just giving you fill in the blanks. Step 2. Get your canonical tag, which is another way of saying your URL, your uniform resource locator, exactly the way it is within the name convention. That's https://www dot your website. If there's a www there, or if there's no www, that's depending on how you've set up your DNS, which is your domain name server. When you do that, you copy exactly that URL, whether it's /events or /blog or /contact or /locations, not just your homepage, right? And then you copy that, go to Eventbrite, go to the description section of Eventbrite and type in whatever you want. Let's say sign up here or learn more about our business and name your business and put the name of the business in print. And then when you type that, highlight and hyperlink that anchor text. An anchor text is going to create a hyperlink. And that hyperlink is going to be the link you copied from your browser or from your browser tab or from your notebook. Then when you paste that into that section, right, and you publish that event on Eventbrite, of course, you've been able to publish it on your blog, email, you've taken it for some time. Come back 3 months later. You can even do a month later, but just to make sure that the test is tested well and you can actually see the results, come back 3 months later and go to your Google Search Console. So if there's some steps you've already missed that you haven't accomplished, then you have to start with those first. Go to your Google Search Console. On the left side, right, where you have all your information, at the very bottom, there's a section that says links, right? Click on links. And then a dashboard is going to open up to the right side. And there's a section that's going to talk about the links that are linking back to your website. Eventbrite is going to be there. Specifically, eventbrite.com is going to be there. That's if you made those steps from step 1 through 4. And if you do that consistently for the events that you have ahead of time, ahead of schedule, 3 months out, 6 months out, 12 months out, then those links are going to start becoming part of your ecosystem. So when people are in your city, like Marcus was saying, and someone's looking for something and your business is in that city that that event is happening, even if it's a virtual event, because you've made it a local search based on the longitudes and the latitudes of your content, then it's going to help you to get more accurate with your results. Because what's going to happen now is that Eventbrite link that has ended, even after your event has ended on Eventbrite, that link is still active. I don't know what happened on Clubhouse. That was a quick one. Can you all still hear me? Okay. I don't know what happened. I got a red bar, like a big red bar. So that event is still active. And if that event is still active after the event is over, then your question should be, how can I take this event to the next level? How can I build more and actually create more capacity and also create more demand? Because if you want to create capacity and you have to create demand, then those two have to work hand in hand, right? You can have capacity, but no demand. You can have a big old stadium, but nobody's coming to the football field. right? That's why Super Bowl is big. That's why the World Cup is big. That's why the Olympics are big. It's the world's biggest stages, right? So when you think about these things, right? I'm a drummer too. I'm a self-taught drummer. So I know how it is when it comes to stages, when it comes to creating the room, the effect. I talked about creating an effect. So when you create an effect in the room and you hear that, I'll say vibrations, hertz, or whatever you want to call it, you're building that capacity because that demand is going to be like, man, I want to do that again. Oh, that sounded nice. Oh, that feels good. I want to do that. So you have to think about that too. And just to shout you out, Kimberly, I would also tell you that one of my favorite instruments is a saxophone because I produce music and I always love having that in my mix. So shout out to you. And you're a lady doing it too. So shout out to you twice. And happy Women's History Month to all of you as well in the room. Appreciate you all. When you create content for people and you're doing it in a way that is going to be very special and you make them feel connected, appreciate the fire, Kimberly. When you create that connection with someone and you're building that through your event, someone's going to remember the thing that you did that made them feel a certain type of way. They may forget what you said. They may forget all those things. We've heard the famous Maya Angelou quote, right? But that feeling is irreplaceable. And that feeling has to be created by an effect. And that effect has to be created by an idea. So if we're going back to the basics and we want to show up and have paid events, how do you know that your event is going to be a successful paid event? Go to Eventbrite and see how much people are charging for the events that you want to charge for. If they're charging $7, $49, that tells you have a range of $1 to $2 signs. When you go to restaurants and the dollar signs say $3 signs, then you know you're going to spend anywhere from $100 and above. If it's $2 signs, you're going to spend between $10 and $99. So when you start looking at those specific things, you're not just looking at numbers and letters and alphanumerical characters. You're looking at content that's going to turn into building capacity that's going to allow your event to shine. And if it's going to happen again and again and again, great. That's going to work out for you as well. Kimberly says, thanks for the shout out. I wasn't expecting that. I use Eventbrite for my events. I would love to know more about that. Yes, Jason.
Yeah, Favor. What I would say is it's very key that people begin with the end in mind. So if I was going to do an event, I would make sure that the branding and the list and everything plans for continuity. So I would say, okay, I'm going to plan my whole year. And if it's like, if I'm going to do events on Thursdays, I'm going to say, well, I expect this to be successful. So am I going to make it every Thursday? I had a business partner. He used to do events, and he's good, right? But because the way he did it, he said on Tuesday night, but he didn't have budget to do it every Tuesday night, so second, fourth. But the thing is that he had to understand that the challenge compared to mine were very simple. It was every Saturday, right? And because his wasn't every Tuesday, sometimes people would get confused. So they would show up on a Tuesday and he wasn't there. And the thing is, somebody would, if they really love you, maybe they'll do that at once and get it right. And they'll come back the next Tuesday. But some people, if they get it wrong, they'll be like, this person's fraud, and they're just gone. So, it is important to have a list, and it is important to be able to do all of those things, because then you minimize the risk of the person getting it confused or just coming one time and not coming back. So, people do lists and websites for a reason, and you shouldn't have a great event and then realize you can't get in touch with the people again and tell them when the next one is, and you have to spend the money and time again from scratch. If you have a successful event, you should have everybody's contact information and be able to email them when the next one is, or you just wasted all your work and effort this week.
Exactly. It's the follow-up. The fortune is in the follow-up. I'm sure you've heard that before. Whenever we talk with clients, we always tell them, make sure after the event is done, let there be a QR code there that they can scan, even if it's to a Google form that's free, or to a type form, whatever you're going to send them, to a jot form. But let them sign up. Let them tell you how the event went. Give them scales, 1 to 5. How did you feel? Would you come back again if we made this a paid event? Would you come for it? How much would you pay? Put $1 sign, $2 signs, $3 signs, $4 signs. Let them tell you what they want. If you can't ask somebody what they want, how will they tell you what they need? Because you will know what they need from what they're saying that they want. Because what they want is an underlining of what they actually need. That's why you always say in marketing, give them what they want first, and then eventually you'll give them what they need. So it just makes sense. And there's something I'll also touch into as well. So thank you for that, Jason. Kimberly, we'd love to hear from you and your events. What's going on? Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, everyone. I was intrigued by the title that came across on my notifications on the phone, and I saw Eventbrite SEO. I was like, this is very interesting because I also do events and I use Eventbrite for my events. And just happy to to be able to see a group that's actually helping others be successful in Eventbrite. I'm still excited. Well, I use Eventbrite, and how I got started was I did my first initial Valentine's Day show back in, I want to say, 2023, and I used Eventbrite, and that's kind of how I made my learned my lessons, but also I saw that even after that event, Eventbrite made some changes to the platform. So, and I noticed recently they were just recently acquired by another company, so I was just intrigued to see this topic come across my notifications, and also know that just see what other with the new company, how things are going to be managed with the new company coming in to take over Eventbrite. So thanks for having me, and yeah, thanks for having me, and I appreciate the shout out. I didn't expect that.
You are welcome, Kimberly. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm glad you're able to find the room and be part of the conversation today. It's so important to, factor these things in and also be very intentional. And I'm glad that we're talking about this today because I have been talking about Eventbrite, and I think just within my own radar, I've been noticing that people want to learn more about this. So I said, okay, let me bring this into play. And just 6 days ago, shout out to Julia Hartz. She's the co-founder of Eventbrite. She loved my comment 5 days ago on LinkedIn. And I told her, and I'll say it verbally, I said, you have changed our lives for better as a worldwide community. Thank you, Julia Hartz, and wishing you the best in your next level of success. It only goes up from here. That was what I mentioned to her because she made a post about how things are going to be changing and how we're going to be having, of course, a whole new experience with Eventbrite because of what's happening now. And they have chosen Bending Spoons to take over Eventbrite. So that's going to be the word you're going to be hearing very, very soon. So just letting you know, just to give you a little insight. So just knowing that there is a lot of value, there's a lot of demand, there's a lot of authority. Welcome, Ethan. Good to see you. There's a lot of spark when it comes to events. People come for events, come to events, go to events, whether they're free or paid, and they want to connect. People fly around the country for events, right? I was just in Chicago for Creative Con, right? I was just in Aspire Tour last week. I was saying yesterday because it was last week, Tuesday. So last week, Tuesday in Houston, we had an event, there's an Aspire Tour, and it was amazing. I got to meet amazing people, and we're still connecting with people till today that I met there. So when we think about events like these that are either free or paid, how do we show up? How do we sign up? How do we do these things? And how do we become more successful? The SEO part about this is the best part about this event, brother. I want to share with you. I put the link in the chat. So I want to also just break this down to you, just to tell you how important Eventbrite is when it comes to SEO. Because I know we talk about what Eventbrite is and what we talk about within the events, which are so many. But think about these numbers I'm about to share with you. Eventbrite, if you didn't know this was last updated. Today is March 17th. This information was last updated March 11th, 2026. So I'm giving you very recent information. Now, by global statistics, Eventbrite.com ranks in the top 763 worldwide. That's a lot. That's a lot because Google is number one, of course, then YouTube, then Facebook, then Instagram, then ChatGPT, then Reddit, then Wikipedia, then Pornhub, then X, then WhatsApp, then X videos, then Yahoo, then Amazon, TikTok, Yahoo, DuckDuckGo, Bing, LinkedIn, Microsoft Online, and Yandex. Those are your top 20, right? Now, when you come to Eventbrite, Eventbrite is in the top 1,000. So globally, they're ranking in 763. In the United States, they're ranking 244. They have about 46.57 million visitors. When I look at that number, that is, to me, I can say the total addressable market, right? That's TAM. You've heard of TAM, SAM, and SOM, right? SAM is your service addressable market, and SOM is your service obtainable market. So if you're looking at your TAM, it means that there are 46, let's say 50 million, let's round it off. There are 50 million people that visit Eventbrite a month. So if you're looking for 0.1% of the people that live in your area, or 0.001, or even 1%, it's possible. The problem is positioning, right? So if you think about these numbers, they're telling you that people come to Eventbrite to look for events. Now, when you look at events in the last 3 months, right? In November, I'm looking at this information I'm seeing here. In November, they had 45.2 million. In December, they had 45.18 million. In January, that's this year, they had 46.57. And now in February, they have 46.57. So they've jumped from 45.2 million in November to 45.18 in December, which made sense because December, everybody was having a good holiday. My birthday is December 26th too. It's Christmas time. My dad's birthday is the last day of the year. It's always a busy time of the year for everybody because every family is enjoying themselves with their loved ones and having a great time, right? January comes in, it shoots back up, 46.57. Now we're in March. Last month was 46.57. So by next month in April, that number is going to jump up again because also we have daylight savings. So a lot of things have changed from February through now, right? So that's going to keep going up and up and up and up. When you now look at the comparison between Eventbrite and their next competitor, which is Bands in Town, which is for more so like artists and celebrities when it comes to concerts and tours, they have about 19.35 million visitors. Number 2 is allevents.in that has 2.58 million visitors. And then Meetup has 9.75 million visitors. So when you're looking at all these visits, I think Meetup should be second and not third, but that's the stats I'm looking at. But it's so interesting to see that these are the stats that we're looking at. When it comes to paid traffic, just think about these numbers, guys. Organic traffic has gone down by 5% and paid traffic has gone up by 62%. Now, this is when you now tell me which one do you want to be. Paid traffic, search traffic, people pay on Eventbrite for events, right? But that paid traffic is giving them about 101.8K. That is normal, right? Out of the 46 million people, right? That is now the market that they're using to now get the paid search traffic. Compare that to organic, which I always talk about. Organic is 3.99 million. So if you compare your 3.99 million organic searches for Eventbrite because you've been active on the platform, compare it because you also have a website, because you have an email list, because you have people you're connecting with, you're writing, I can say even writing blog posts on your website that talk about events on Eventbrite, which we've done for companies, we've done for nonprofits. There was an event that just happened not too long ago, a conference, and they had about 18 sponsors. And I tagged all the 18 sponsors, tagged all their LinkedIn events, tagged all their profiles, made sure that there was something that was constructive, not just copy and paste, but it was done in a very constructive way. Send that out as an email. Now they're looking for the next event that's going to be happening in the next 6 months. So the money they've acquired, which was, I believe, over 50K, and that's just at least from what I'm knowing. I know there's way more than that. But from that alone, think about the sponsors, the ticket sales, all the things that have happened. They've made their money back plus more. And that was, I think, it was a 2 or 3 day event. People flew in from everywhere, from Africa all the way to Houston. And people, of course, within the US as well that flew in out of state. So You think about these things and you ask yourself, am I going to be in the 3.99 million organically reaching people, or am I going to spend money to make money and then reach 101,000 people? It's for you to decide. But honestly speaking, if you think about the long-term effect of these things, Eventbrite is a great place because they have an authority score of 77, right? And an authority score is like domain. So when you look at the domain authority that is at a high level, which of course is a variable number, but they're really in the top, I can call it top 1%, then your question should now be, for SEO purposes, how do I, a small business, a medium-sized business, a large business, an enterprise business, how do I participate in this? The goal is to put your website, connect to Eventbrite, go to Eventbrite, connect it back to your website, and build that bridge. If you want to even have a trio, if I can put it like that, or triad, the next thing you can do is take it to your podcast. So on your podcast, if you're submitted to all these shows, all those platforms that have your podcast episode will have a link to your Eventbrite. But that's starting with your website. So your website is gaining momentum. Eventbrite is gaining momentum. Now, when it comes to even AI visibility, which I did not mention too, and I think I'll also mention this last from the list, and you can also look at the link if you want to check it out. I'll mention two things actually, just to give you a bonus. The top destinations that Eventbrite comes from when it comes to website traffic journey, according to SEMrush, these are the top 5 top destinations. Google.com, of course, which is 11.78%, which has gone up by 22%, which makes sense. The second place is Zoom, because people do events on Eventbrite and then you end up on Zoom. So it makes sense. So Zoom has 5% of that destination link. So when you have a Zoom link, don't think your Zoom link is just an expired link. If that Zoom link is going to be active for a specific event, then that Zoom link is also generating traffic, and it went up by about 3%. Next is eventbrite.co.uk. Fourth place is eventbrite.ca, and fifth place is facebook.com, which makes sense because on Facebook you can create events and you can link Eventbrite to Facebook, and you can also run ads on Facebook and Instagram to events on Eventbrite from Facebook or from Meta. And if you have a Meta pixel to your website, it's a win-win. So we're talking about numbers here. The top sources, direct source is 41%. Second source, which is direct, second source is google.com. Third place is mail.google.com. Why is that even happening? Right? We think about prefixes. The prefix right now is mail. So when you see mail.google.com, it means that people are receiving emails from Eventbrite or events about whatever event they're creating on Eventbrite, but they're also sending emails. So if mail.google.com, which is Google Mail, Gmail, is connected to your website because you're sending through your business email, which is your domain, you see where I'm going with this? With SEO, everything is interconnecting. The next one is xtelecom.ro. And the fourth one is l.facebook.com. So you're noticing there's a lot of Google, there's a lot of Facebook, there's a lot of Eventbrite, there's a lot of Zoom. Now, when it comes to AI traffic, in the last 6 months. Yeah, it shows the last 6 months. ChatGPT has generated about 67,000 visits from ChatGPT and 11,000 visits from Gemini, right? What does that say about your business, about your relevance online? If you ask ChatGPT or Cloud or Perplexity or DeepSeek or any other AI tool about the top events in your city that will focus on a specific thing, how will you end up on that listing if you're not showing up on Google first, if you're not showing up on Eventbrite too? These are the things that we need to consider before we even think about successful events. Because if we don't have these things set up, it's going to be a hard thing to do. Jason is also talking about G2, which is important. I just got a referral from G2. Recently, I did a review for Flowdesk as a partner on G2, and it got approved, and they sent me a gift card that expires in 2027. So I'm just like, wow, these are things that are happening in real time. But it's happening through email communication. It's happening through business. I've been with Flowdesk since 2019. So 7 years now this is happening. It was worth the wait. So when we think about our business in 2026 and we want to be very intentional with our events, we can't just be writing anything on our titles. Or here is the fill in the gap or fill in the blank and you don't know what it is. Someone's not going to know what that is. If it's a boot camp, if it's a workshop, if it's a conference, if it's a meetup, if it's a meet and greet, if it's a paid event, if it's a challenge, if it's whatever it is, let that also be in the title. And then the name of it, if it's cooking, if it's kneading, if it's whatever it is, if it's dancing, you have to put those words in there, because if those words are not there and people are looking for dance classes, or they're looking for ballet classes, or they're looking for kung fu classes, how are you going to show up if you're not putting yourself in that position where you're actually showing up within the title? Because this is the end and be all of everything. If you look at the name of your title on Eventbrite, as you're thinking about the name of your event, just know that that name of that event is going to turn into a URL. So it's going to be whatever you put in that URL. So if that URL is fluff, you're not going to get anything back, because there's no semantics, there's no structure. You're talking about an event that is yours. It's a book club, but the word book club is not in your event title. It may be about the book, but we don't know if it's a book club or it's a book management or a book publishing store. We don't know. So these things have to be explicitly, meticulously defined for us to really think about the success, because we can't just guess. We're not mind readers. So we need to know exactly what you want us to do. And even there's a section that says agenda. There's a section that says FAQs. You can add links in there. Eventbrite, even there's tags. I think you can add up to 10 or 20 tags. I believe it's 10 or so. And those tags are there. Put your location. Put things that are very specific. This is free information I'm giving you that you could be paying for. But most people will not apply this. That's why I say it for free. Because the people who want to apply it will talk about it, and then there's a fee. So I'm giving you free knowledge, information that you can take home, do it for yourself. Great. Let's hurrah together. But at the end of the day, it's going to be what you put into that strategy that's going to make sense. SENSE or CENTS. And that's my TED Talk. Thank you for being here today. Ethan, we'd love to hear from you before we go. What are your thoughts on the topic? And if you have a pink ticket, please make sure you click the link above to join the newsletter. And at the very, very top, click the marketing club so you can become a part of the house and be welcomed into the house. We have over 353.2 thousand members in here. And I've been on Clubhouse since November 24th, 2020. I have a podcast called We Don't Play on wedon'tplaypodcast.com. Click the link above. I've been having my podcast. This is 640 episodes in. I'm in the top 20,000 out of 4.6 million shows globally, streaming across 160 countries, and we're in our 12th season. So this is something that I'm doing consistently, and consistency shows by data. It shows by intelligence, and it shows by commitment. I'm not doing this to be paid. I'm doing this to serve, and I love serving. That's why I do this for a long time, and I've been doing this for a long time. So thank you for being here, and I hope you are learning something, and I'll also check the chat too. Ethan, what you got going on? What's going on in your world?
Good morning. Just woke up, saw the room. Very interesting about Eventbrite. I go to events all the time, and that's how I find them. Search, and it's been successful. I don't host them, but I go to them, and I find them really quick.
I love that. Captions, the descriptions, even your thumbnail. When you're uploading the thumbnail of your event, the thumbnail has a PNG file. That name is going to also play a big role. If the name of your event is in your file name of your JPEG or your PNG or your WebP, that's also going to play a big role. If your YouTube video has the same words that people are searching for, that's going to create semantics, and also going to create, I can call it a match. So it, like Ethan said, you may not even know what you're looking for. And then when it finds you, you're like, oh, this is what I've been looking for all along. The price is right. The people are perfect. We're not perfect. Only Jesus Christ is. But the event is in a perfect way that can actually say, okay, we can work this out. We can do something here. We can actually make this happen. This is something that is actually exciting to be in. I'm going to meet new people. Oh my goodness, I want to meet new people. That's going to help you. You may not know when to run this event. Like Jason was saying, you may not know when to run the event. If you have a community, ask them. Whether it's on a Facebook group, a LinkedIn poll, an email poll, ask them. And I would say ask them these two questions, and this will help you define your answer if you don't know. And the feedback you get back, start with that. You may not say, oh, two people said yes or no. Those are 2 people that can come to your event that never did. So don't ignore the 2 people, please. 2 impressions, everybody matters. Impressions matter, and lasting impressions matter too. So here are the 2 things that you want to do, right? You can write this down. Ask them, would you rather do weekdays or weekends? That's the first question. The second question is, would you rather do weekdays or weeknights? When you know the answer to those 2 questions, based on the popularity vote, you can start somewhere. And then you can also ask them, maybe just to give you a little bonus, how far ahead would you like us to plan this event? 1 to 3 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, 7 to 9 weeks. Ask them those questions. And then that way you don't have to panic. You don't have to stress. You don't have to worry about, are they coming or not? Are they going to show up or not? When you have a wedding, when you have an event, when you have a baby shower, when you have whatever type of event it is, you're planning ahead. You have websites like Partyful you can use. You have Luma events you can use. There's also Eventbrite itself, what we're talking about today, right? Even Apple have created their own events app in the store. So there are platforms you can go to and add these things. LinkedIn events, Eventbrite events. If you put all these events on your website, do you know how much page traffic you're getting, especially if you're linking all those pages back to you? Eventually, people are going to start citing and I would say start taking your citations and start putting them on their website and say, here are the top 10 events for marketing. Here are the top 10 events for this. That's what happens with my podcast. That's how Wix.com featured my podcast, because I mentioned something on an episode and they cited what I said and they put that in an article from expert reviews. I didn't know that till a year later. They did that last July 2025. I knew that as of a couple of weeks ago. So you don't know what's going on. But at the end of the day, if you know what you're doing and it's right, and you're committed to a cause that's going to help more people see better, feel better, do better, and you know better, then you could be able to do that and help them in a long-term way. Kimberly also said that I've had people fly from other places to my events. The dope artist says, me too, and do road trips. People do these things. People fly. I've done it. I'm sure you have. If you want to go somewhere, you're going to fly there. You're going to plan ahead. If you know this event is in May, you've probably gotten your ticket, your plane ticket, or you've gotten your hotel, because you don't want May to come around and now you're trying to book a flight the day before. That doesn't happen. So a successful event is based on planning. The time I told you matters, because if I tell you I have an event in June, you have all this time. But if I have an event tomorrow, where do you have the time to fix me in your schedule when you have a whole schedule you planned 3 months ago or last week or yesterday? So your goal should be, you should think about the people that you're working with and talking to, so that you're not also infiltrating their time or adding more stress because they want to learn this thing, but they have to fix you in because you didn't plan ahead of time. So think about these things long term, and you'll be so far ahead in business that this would be a successful free or paid event for you. And you can be able to do the numbers and ask yourself, okay, can we do this again? Do we need to? Do we have to? And if we do, are we going to make it into a private membership? Are we going to bring them into a cohort, a mastermind? Those words, that jargon is based on your intellectual property and what you want people to know you for. So does anyone have any questions for me before we wrap this up?
I guess my question would be, have you ever gone to an event that was way better than, the person's readiness for it? And how did that make you feel? Like, what I mean by is that I've gone to events that were, the person had such great talent there, or is like great potential, or and because of their, either they didn't believe they would be wanted, do another one or whatever, or they just were not like understanding what the potential was, and they didn't plan, like didn't have a marketing list, they didn't have like a website, they didn't have a series planned, and it was just I guess it was just disappointing, but I didn't really want to, like, I realized I could do this better because I have a lot of, marketing experience. I just didn't want to, but I was just thinking, like, I'm normally over prepared, and, you know, I just see so many people that are underprepared marketing wise, even great influencers, without a proper website, and then they get kicked off. And it happened to me. I got kicked off YouTube, and I wasn't even doing any dirt, and also Facebook. So I just feel like it's way better to be over prepared, and then it rains and maybe people don't come, but you have a list, than to be underprepared. So everybody's like, wow, that was great, you should do this again, and you're like, oh shoot, I didn't know, and now I don't have everybody's contact information. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you definitely have to prepare. I always say this, and you've heard this somewhere before. This is not, I didn't make this up, and I can't make this up. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And if those questions come and it's your first event, that's a lesson. That means when you do it again, the same way you got them is the same way you can plan ahead of time to get more people like them. If you were smart to have your website connected, then you can actually have your website interconnected to your business website. And that way you're able to track data and know, okay, if people came to my website, and I just gave you all, and I ran down the stats, if people come to your website and they're coming from Eventbrite, because Eventbrite has about 50 million people a month that they're visiting, and you get at least 1% of that to your website that are looking for your event because you put that link in your Eventbrite description, then you can now attribute those links and look at your Eventbrite, and also go to your Google Analytics, your Fathom Analytics, your Matomo Analytics, your whatever analytics, GA4 Plus, whatever you want to call it. You can create a report and also see, okay, based on the last 30 days, based on the last 60 days, 90 days, I've had this event on for the last 120 days, or I've been doing this event for the last 365 days. How can I do this better and know exactly where the top people are coming from? So if I know my top 5 locations are these 5 cities, then I'm going to retarget to those same cities, because I know in those cities, they're known for this. There are some states, some cities in the US that are known for specific types of events: tech events, medical events, real estate events, or AI events, right? Vegas is one of them, right? When you think about events and you say, who are the top 3 places to go? You hear Vegas in the mix. You hear Miami in the mix. You could also hear Atlanta in the mix, maybe Houston. You could hear states that, would also be part of that based on the larger side, like California or Florida. So whenever you start thinking about all these things, we don't know what people want until we find out. If you don't know where you want to take them to, ask them. Do a poll. Go on Instagram, go on Threads, go on LinkedIn, go on email. Ask them. If you don't ask anybody, you will not know. Even the Bible says, if you don't ask, you don't receive. It's big. I mean, if you don't ask for something, if you don't propose, you're not going to get married. So you have to ask. You have to ask, and the answer has to be yes or no. It could be maybe or wait, but the answer has to come back to you in one way or the other. So I love that you mentioned that, Jason, as well. So it's very important to look at these things and just be more intentional with your time and with your management as well. Fatima, I saw you raise your hand and I wanted to bring you up. I did, but I don't know if you're able to receive the invitation, because I'd love to hear if you have a question as well. So thank you so much for that, Jason. Yeah, definitely you have to plan. If you don't plan, then especially if you go for an event and that event was not successful, then you want to know why it wasn't successful. Write it down and then minimize on those errors. I think Tesla is big on that. Tesla, one of the things I heard about them, I don't know where I heard it, but it was years ago. When I heard it, it stuck with me. That's how you know something can stick. I learned that with Tesla, the major thing that they do is to minimize errors. So the less errors they have, the more successes they have. So whichever error comes in, they're going to bug it. They're going to debug it, right? And of course, that applies to any other business, any other type of business operation. It's just a 101, right? But you take that strategy and turn it into something that can actually be an asset for you, not just a liability. So you have to think about that long term. Yes, Marcus.
I came in kind of late, but it sounded like Jason was trying to figure out, how to kind of get that wheel going. When you have an event and then people come out, and then you have another event and you want the people that came to the first event and the new people to come out, and then you just want to kind of keep going with that. What I do is, one of my favorite quotes is short code, long money. I'm going to say it again for the room. Short code, long money. All the millionaires and billionaires, they got a short code, they got long money too. A short code is a short number that you call or you text, to mass text. So instead of texting like a cell phone number, a 10-digit number, or 1-800 number, you actually text just a 5, 6, 7, 8-digit number, type thing like that, right? So my short code is 888-111. That's my actual short code. I have up to 100 keywords that I can use with this short code. So one of my short codes is my name, Marcus. So you can text Marcus to 888-111. The word happy. I got over 100 keywords with that initial short code. And what I do is when I have these events, we collect the data from the people that show up, of course, but then we also get to the stage, grab the mic, and at some point at the end, middle, or the beginning, we're telling everybody, hey, grab your cell phones, pull out your phone, text the word Marcus or text the word happy to 888-111. We want to stay connected with you as well as see what we could do better at the next event. And what happens is you'll get the automatic messages saying, hey, follow us, let's get social, follow us on LinkedIn and Instagram and all that. And then maybe a day or two later, or even the same day, an hour, minutes later, you can have that automation coming in saying, what did you think about the event? And you'll have all those messages from all the people that attended your event to make your event better if they, actually engage with the automations and stuff. So it's one thing to be like, hey, what do y'all think about the event? It's another thing to actually have them fill out that survey, that form, that go high level form, whatever it is, and have that on a dashboard, on a spreadsheet, and implement it real time. So, but yeah, that's it, Favour.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Marcus. Yeah, go ahead.
amazing. I think that it just shows like somebody goes to an event where they have or one of your events and they have that, then they're going to feel engaged. And I think the whole thing is today, like people are able to do all of these things and be very responsive. As so, somebody can build a relationship with, the event promoter or organizer or the star and feel like that's why people like social media more than like, say, like a TV interview or something. They can't interact, they can't build a relationship, they can't hear directly from the person. So now the thing is, it's the bar is set up there. So now if you do an event and you don't have all of that and you're not taking feedback, it just seems like you underinvested. So like people have to understand the bar is up there now. It's really affordable to do all of these things. So if you don't do them now, it just looks like you're a rookie. And I think that, you can not do
Assalamu
them,
alaikum.
but yeah, you're going to look like a rookie.
Peace be upon you. Favor.
Yes, thank you.
Um,
You like to say something? Go ahead.
actually, what I want to ask is, I really like the idea of what you bringing up, like the overall um, overview of Eventbrite and the targets and their aims. So what I want to know is, let's see if I have 1,000 naira. Since you're based in Nigeria, right?
No, I'm based in Houston.
In what? Okay, Texas. So what's your currency? Okay, dollars. Okay, so with $1,000, how many people do you think I'm going to, like, how what's the capacity of an event with $1,000 budget?
That's a great question. Now, when you have $1,000 budget, I always say if you want to spend money on ads and you haven't spent time on your website, don't spend money at all. It sounds brutal, but I'm saving you from stress because yes, by all means, it's your money. Do what you want to do. I have no say at all in what you can do with your money, right? That's not my place. But what I will say is that when you run an ad, you're supposed to have a return on your investment. And before you have an investment or yield, any type of return, there has to be structure. There has to be placement. There has to be positioning. There has to be market research. There has to be research and development. Apple just don't drop a price, or just don't drop a laptop because it's the right price or it's the right time. It's different. Like the new AirPods 2, I think that's what they call the AirPod Max 2, and the Neo is the same price from what I've seen. But you wonder how they're the same price, but they're two different products. So if you're thinking about having $1,000 in running ads, then the question should be, what is the cost per acquisition? Right? You start thinking about all those things. Ask yourself, okay, what does it take to retain this client or retain this customer? Right? What's the average order value? Right? It's not just, I have $1,000. What do I do? You can have $1,000 today and it can be gone tomorrow. People win lotteries every day and lose the money the next day. So your goal should be, how can I take this $1,000 and keep it? Or maybe say I'm going to spend 10% of that and run an A/B test campaign and do $10 a day for 10 days. And now within 10 days, I have an idea of what I want to spend the rest of my $900 to do. Just like you put money aside for this, you put money aside for that. You don't just run the whole ad spend and say, okay, $1,000, we're going to run it. So the goal should be, what is the event? What is the return on that event? What is the quality? Am I going to run ads to make profit? Am I running ads to make impact? Is it both? What am I doing to create that effect? So I can't really say what you can spend it on or what to do, but what you can definitely, first of all, invest in is the research that's going to help you make that $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 and above. And there are a lot of people that can tell you how you can do it differently, right? Because when you have these things, a website is very important. If you don't have a website and you're running events to Eventbrite, then you're giving Eventbrite traffic. We just talked about it just now. Eventbrite, if you click the link in the chat, I put the stats there. Eventbrite, people pay this paid search traffic, which is about 100,000, 101,000. That's what they're getting compared to organic, which is 3.99 million. Would you rather have 3.99 million or 101K? Because of your 1K. So when you think about these things, ask yourself, what is the value? That's why I always say invest time, money, and resources in providing value first. So when you become the topical authority, people are not going to guess whether you have the authority or not because you've shown it over time. So that $1,000 can go today, and then tomorrow you're looking for the next event to run, when you could have saved that $1,000 and spend time on your website, build that authority, answer all the frequently asked questions about your event, send them to the people, collaborate, do things that are organic. I do organic. We don't run ads. We help you run ads, whether it's a billboard, Facebook, a search engine. We'll help you run that social campaign. But organically, we're already gaining that because it's through referrals, it's through Google, it's through podcasts, it's through LinkedIn, it's through places that are organic. They're all free. But the time you spend is not free because our time is very valuable. It's priceless. We can't even measure the time. But if we're able to give our time and give it in a qualitative way, that's why quality time is one of the love languages, then you'll be able to receive that back. So Amina, save your money first if you don't have a website before you spend any money on ads and regret that you could have kept that money and use it for something else. Does that help?
Yeah, it does actually a lot. Thank you very much. I even have. There was a time my sister makes websites. There was a time she bought the domain, but I ended up not doing it due to certain health crisis and all. But thank you very much. I'll look into that website.
You are welcome. Yes,
I would
Jason.
also say optimize all of the free stuff first before you spend money, because the thing is, like, there's a big opportunity for you to optimize your and maybe you're very new to Clubhouse, but I use the whole free runway. You could just see my profile, right? Like, it's free, so it means that you can optimize that as well, right? So there's a lot of different, like, that's a basic. I was at Microsoft back in 98, 99. I realized the whole basis of the success online is giving people free taste first. That's just basic marketing. If you have, even the little kids with a lemonade stand, they give you a free sample. So that's why I bought, all the free websites, but I just spelled it PHRE. But whatever your thing is, the principle is the same. That, there's a lot of free tools, and people wouldn't even have gotten a Facebook profile if they had to pay first. They just wouldn't, and it's still like that. And that's why Clubhouse is free first. So optimize optimize the free stuff first. And then if you do all of that, then you can say, okay, well, now I've optimized the free stuff. Then do I want to pay? Right. But if you didn't optimize the free stuff yet, and then you start spending money, um, by all means you can, but it's just a missed opportunity. Even if it takes you a day, you optimize the free stuff first, and then you look. And the next day you say, okay, well, do I want to invest money, right? But until you've optimized the free stuff, you're wasting your money, so to speak.
Love that, Jason. I always say this. People say that attention is the new currency. And then I added and said retention is the new balance. Attention is the new currency. Retention is the new balance. It's not what you spend, it's what you keep. That balance sheet is going to say a lot about you. Your credit is going to say a lot about you. Like, just think about it. It goes down into different things, right? So you have to think about what you're putting out. You don't give what you don't have, but you can get a lot of what you receive if you are able to put in the things that will make the value, the exchange that you want to see over time. And that yields by compounding interest. Interest is not just I'm interested. You have to be interesting. You can't just be interested, because I can be interested in this thing and tomorrow I'm not interested anymore. So did that interest have an interest, or was it just whatever it was? That's why Pinterest is known for that. It's Pinterest, drop the P, it's interest. So these things all match. It just makes sense. It just has to make sense. If it doesn't make sense, then it has to be clarified. So I'm so happy that you asked that question, Amina, and thank you so much for that feedback, Jason. Hidden. You were definitely hidden because I didn't know it was you until I saw your name. What's up, man? Good to have you here. Did you change your profile? Did you have a new account? We'd love to hear from you. And also, you talked about something in the systems that I'd love for people to, hear from you first. You see, Hidden might not be speaking all the time. You see, there we go. He's on the call. He's in the office. All right. Thank you for bringing that in. I'll just say what you said in the chat. You said register your business in your prominent niche spaces, such as associations, definitely. And you also said all of the information is free. It's the systems and structures where you have to pay. Citations, backlinks, all these things. Yeah, very, very important. So as a business owner, ask yourself in 2026, do I want to show up for the right things, or do I want to show up for anything? If you want to show up for the right things and you have the right market, you said new account. I knew it. So when you think about it long term, ask yourself as a business owner, where do I want to show up for events? There's a client that we're working with right now. She wanted to run an event and spend money on events, and she had to cancel the event because it was super close. And I told her, I don't want you to spend money on this event. We need to build your structure first. And that's what we're doing. We're building a website because she had a landing page on MailChimp. And we have to move her over from MailChimp to Flowdesk, first of all, so we can improve her deliverability rate and everything else in between. And then now build a website for her so that when she now runs this event, when she's supposed to, we now have exactly that right avatar. She has a specific ideal client avatar. And I'm talking about like a $1,600 ticket. This is not just a $10 ticket. So I told her, for you to get that amount of money to be paid to you, you need to have a structure in place. And that's what we're doing for the next 3 months, so that the next 6 months out, she's making her money back. This is structure. I wouldn't just tell you, hey, sign up SEO, pay me this. No, if I know that this is going to cost you more in the future, I'm not going to even allow you to pay that invoice, because I know that you're going to come for me in the future and I don't want nothing on me. I want to make sure that you understood the information, you got everything pronto, and now you decide, are we going to invest in our time or not? Some people are not ready to invest, and that's totally fine. Some people are ready to invest like yesterday, and that's fine too. But it depends on how bad do you want it and how do you see your business by this time next year. We have a client who does massage therapy. By this time last year, they were not having any moves. We had a call yesterday. They're getting calls, they're getting bookings, and they do things like cryotherapy, red light therapy, lymphatic massage. These are like very specific types of treatments. So when we start thinking about helping businesses, it's not just because we want to do SEO or because we know marketing. The more we know, the more we don't. Every business is different. I can't apply the business for the massage, for the business, for the event. It doesn't work. We have to understand that everybody is different. You're all unique. You're all geniuses. There's something you know that I don't, and vice versa. So we have to just think about how we're connecting with people and how we're showing up for people long term. Hidden says, I love using Google Trends to pinpoint out things these days. Yes, Google Trends is amazing. Pinterest Trends too. You can also use Glimpse or meetglimpse.com. These are platforms that you can use that are free. Some of them are paid. So you ask yourself, where do you want to be in 2026? I'll give you all this information for free. That's why if you click the link above and you sign up to the newsletter, you will always get this email. I'm sending out an email today. Today is Taco Tuesday. So whoever loves tacos, you enjoy your tacos too. You have to think about your business and ask yourself in 2026, where are we going? What are we doing? Do we have the similar interests? Do we like the same thing? Do we like seafood? Do we like steak? How do you like your steak? How do you like your eggs? How do you like your bacon? How do you like your bread? That's very specific. How do you like your coffee? So when you think about these questions and you now match with other people that like what you like, then we don't have to dislike anything because we're in the same bracket. We're in the same space. We're sharing the same topic of interest. It's not topic of disinterest. It's topic of interest. So I'm glad that we were able to talk about this today. And I think we've butchered this this topic all the way down to zero. Also, GSC, which means Google Search Console, Hidden is saying are the best way to reverse engineer things, utilize what's readily available, especially the data. You're right. Right now on my website, people are looking for technical SEO and local SEO courses. So now I'm going to create events on Eventbrite about those two things. I might do both and see which one gains more traffic, and I'll try that. If you're on Clubhouse, try it too. Have an event on Clubhouse. I used to do this back in 2020, 2021. Have an event on Clubhouse, create the event, copy the link, go to Eventbrite, put the link there, go to LinkedIn, go to your website, and say, here are the events that we're having. Clubhouse has events. What we're doing right now is an event. We're literally inside an event as we're speaking. In case you didn't know, you're today years old if you do this, that we're in an event. This had a schedule. This is on the calendar. This is happening right now. So if you really treat your time wisely and treat your people wisely and in the best way that you want to be treated, then eventually that money, that thing that you're looking for will come to you. You don't look for it, it comes to you. Money comes to me easily. Money comes to me now. The same thing should be applied to your concepts because the words are powerful. Power of life and death is in your tongue. You can say I'm happy or I'm sad. That's exactly what it is. Like Henry Ford said, if you can or can't, you're right. And no one can beat you on that because you're the person that said it. So out of your mouth, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Think like a man, or think and grow rich, or think differently, or think smart. Whatever you're going to put in those words is up to you. By the end of the day, if those results are successful, it's because you did it. If it's because there was a failure, it's because you did it. If you failed to plan, why did it fail? If you cancel it, good, because you know that you could have actually cost more. You could have paid money for tickets, events, and then 3 people come when you were expecting 30. Now you have an overhead cost that's 30% above budget. So it's really up to you to decide. So I'm glad we were able to cover this topic and give you the rundown of what we've been talking about today when it comes to Eventbrite SEO, successful free events versus paid events. Amina says, Hidden says too, you can create an event in Google. Nice hack. Yes. Amina says, hi, I forgot about that. Seriously. I'm so glad you definitely brought this up because we have to think about this long term. If you definitely fail to plan, you plan to fail. It's everything in life. If you fail to wake up this morning and you decide to wake up an hour late and you were late for work or you were late to an event or late to a meeting, you can't blame the person who set the event. You have to ask yourself, what did I do last night or what did I do this morning, right? We have to think about these things. I have a meeting in the next 10 minutes. So I want to make sure that you understand these things and build these things from scratch. If you have a business and you need your business to shine, to grow, to glow, then this is the time to really do it. But you need structure first. And we can talk about that structure in 30 minutes. Click the link above, book a call with me. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about your business. If you want to be on my podcast, please feel free to do so. The link is also available above. book a call with me. I'll definitely want to highlight you and your business, talk about your success story, and let the world know about what you do, because sharing is caring. I mean, I'm not by myself in this world. We need each other. We are family. Hey. So we need to be together. We can't just be doing this by ourselves. So with that said, have a blessed day. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Landstronaut, Kimberly, Amina, Hidden, Kelly, Mo, Caitlin, thanks for coming in. Ramyar, looking forward to connecting with you later very, very soon. Just Goddess, Rasha, thanks for being here. Carmen, Anthony, and Nicole, I appreciate each and every one of you. Hope you have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll definitely see you guys in the next room by God's grace. Talk to you soon. God bless and enjoy your Taco Tuesday. If you have reached this point of the episode, I just want to say thank you so much for listening to the We Don't Play podcast show. I hope this has helped you, given you some insight, because every time I come on here, or anytime I bring somebody on here, a guest, a speaker, anyone that is of relevance to you listening is always going to give you educational value, definitely entertainment value, and most importantly, empowerment value. So thank you for listening to the We Don't Play podcast show every day. And if you want to reach out to me, you know where to find me. Click the links in the description, or go to info@playinc.online, info@playinc.online, and book a call. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk SEO. Let's talk marketing. Let's talk business. Let's talk scaling. And I look forward to meeting you and learning more about you and your business. Till we meet in the next episode, have a blessed evening. Have a blessed day, night, wherever you are in the world. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Bye for now. And don't forget, Jesus loves you.